everybody watch this so that we don't lose our jobs, please.
Thank you. This episode is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Today's patron of the day is Quinn Teal. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. So if you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline. And I just did the Line Con this past weekend. It was very fun.
We had amazing.
A good time. Yeah. We got to do Q&A at the end. It was a good time.
Were there a lot of people?
There were like 200 people in there. I was like,
oh my gosh, you guys.
I know. It was really fun.
Up.
I know. They really turned out. So thank you all for coming. Become a patron so you can join us too. And
love the abrupt ending.
Yeah. Welcome to The Line Has a Podcast. It's a girls only episode, so please excuse production moments that make no sense. Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows girls can't do production, so that's why we're here.
Listen, I know we don't believe in God here, but I do like the phrase God doesn't give with both hands. And I think that this is one of those moments. If we were really good at technology, we would be too powerful.
It's so true. And our personalities would take a hit. And we don't want that.
Exactly.
Like, we're just full personality and like 1% production abilities. Although I'm 0% production abilities and 100% depending on you to do all this. Except for I have been using Riverside to make my very own podcast.
Your YouTube
and
stuff?
I do it. Do you know that it takes me like 5 hours? It's really sad. It's like whole thing. It's a struggle. It makes me respect you more. And it makes me very happy that we're here now and you're pushing all the buttons because I cannot do it.
Does it take you 5 hours to record or to edit or to do both? It takes 5 hours.
It doesn't take me that long to record anymore. Although the first couple of ones, I'm not kidding, I recorded like 45 minutes and then found out like nothing was working, things like that. It's the editing that takes me a long time because I'm just very slow at all. So is that Bonnie?
Well, no, it's Astro. And he's very ornery today. He's like, I don't know. Maybe he didn't sleep
allowed
good.
To be.
It happens.
It happens.
Riverside has pretty good AI. Sorry. I feel like I have to apologize in advance. They have good AI editing tools, but it doesn't feel natural. So like I still want to go through and make it sound
that's what I
sort
have
of
to
normal.
do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So
and I do have a lot of moments where I'm like, oh, I just totally lost my train of thought and have to start the sentence over again. And then I have to go find it in the episode and change it and all that. But we're here now. We're doing it. Jimmy is unfortunately very sick. So we hope he feels better and is back later this week. But you get to hang out with Alyssa and I. And there's a lot of news. There's a lot of things to talk about. Unfortunately, as usual, most of it is horrible. Maybe extra horrible.
Yeah, this is a particularly bad news day. And that's okay. We're gonna discuss it together. And hopefully at some point something will change, but probably not because people in this country are obsessed with having guns for some reason.
Truly obsessed.
Yeah. I actually, and like, I know that this is not a popular opinion, so like, whatever. I personally don't think anyone needs a gun literally ever. Like, I just don't think it's necessary because cops don't shoot at like, I think they shoot like 40% accuracy and that's their literal job. So like, how do you think that like if someone is invading your house and they have like a plan, like they know what they're doing, how in the world do you think that you are going to be fast enough to open up your safe, to load up your gun, take it out of safety and aim and shoot at that person? Like really? And I know some people do it like because the threat of being a gun owner alone can like help you, but I just like don't see the benefit. I really don't.
Yeah, I think I agree with you ideologically. I think for me, the way, and people are going to not like to hear this, but that's okay. I think gun culture in the US, just as a pragmatist, I look at it and I'm like, what's the solution here? I'm like, there are so many people, you cannot take their guns away. You literally can't do it. It's just not going to happen. And I look at, like, here I am in Finland, and people do have guns. In fact, they have one of the highest gun ownership per capita rates of anywhere. And yet we don't have mass shootings here and all of that. So I think I'm maybe an idealist in that I think we can have our cake and eat it too. I think there is some arrangement that can be made over time where people get to have this bizarre, I agree with that, like bizarre religious, obsession with guns, and have that part of their culture, and yet also have safety and save lives, because that's happening in other countries. It's just that things are significantly more regulated, significantly more. And there is a general attitude towards gun ownership that is different than what we have in the US. So I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm happy to be wrong about that. And I'm sure everyone will let me know in the comments. But all I know, and what you and I would both 100% agree on, is that there have to be some major changes made in the US to move forward.
Yeah.
Or else this is what we're talking about, or what we're alluding to, is the shooting at Brown University. Which is, do you know the rates as far as like how many mass shootings we've had this year? Something insane.
Yes, we've had 380 something mass shootings. Great. We've had more mass shootings. Actually, I'll say it's over 300 for sure. We've had more mass shootings this year than we've had days of the year in the United States.
Absolutely insane. And that's not necessary. That shouldn't be happening.
It's just not. With the shooting at Brown University, they also thought that they had a person. They arrested somebody who they thought was the shooter, and then later he said that he was not actually the shooter, and they just released him. So now they are on their third day of trying to figure out who it was. And didn't
Trump initially tweet within immediately that they had the shooter in custody and everything? Right. Yes. Because he wants to be the first. He wants to be the one saying all the things, even though that was just blatantly untrue.
Yes. Actually, I'm sorry. There were at least 391 shootings in 2025 and 13,000 shooting deaths nationwide. Wow. And at least 75 of those were school shootings. And this is at Brown University is an Ivy League school. It feels similar to me as when they were shooting up schools for young kids, where what's your excuse now? What's your excuse now? Because you want to tell me that it's these alleged thugs, when in reality we know that that's not the case. And they want to give this excuse and paint this narrative that it's it's just the bad apples. And I just don't believe that that's the case. And it's just, here we are again. And there are 2 students dead, 9 that are injured. And we don't have the shooter in custody. Wild.
Absolutely wild. I know somebody whose daughter is a student there and was posting about it. And luckily her daughter is okay and she went to pick her up and all of that. But I think it was her that acknowledged that several of the survivors of this shooting have survived other mass shootings already. So we're at that point in American history where people are surviving multiple mass shootings because it's become that common. Of course it has, if we're having 390 mass shootings per year. That's unacceptable. There's just no, it's very frustrating to me that we have right-wing extremists come in and use talking points about trans people, talking points about immigrants, all these things that they try to point back to being a safety issue. That's what they're trying to say. Oh, it's a safety issue. And then we have a blatant safety issue, something that is, demonstrably impacting a lot of people every year. And that's not being addressed at all. No parts of this are being addressed. Even when they try to say, oh, it's about mental health, or, oh, it's about something else, or, oh, it's about this or that, which I'm sure there are parts of it that, that's That's also a great point. None of it are they addressing. They're just, every time this sort of thing happens, it's turned into just more polarization, which we also saw with another shooting. I don't know if you wanted to move on to that story yet or not, but where we see
in Australia
it being politicized. No, the well, not shooting, I guess stabbing, with Trump politicizing somebody's death, which is, that story makes me absolutely furious. I was just reading Trump's statement. I don't know if you want to share what that was, but
yeah. So the actor Rob Reiner, I think he's also a producer as well, and his wife Michelle
and director.
Reiner.
He did
and
Princess
director.
Bride and When Harry Met Sally and all of those.
Oh my God.
Like, I grew up
I'm awful.
just
I never
loving
know
him.
Things,
no, it's, I mean, it takes a minute. People like that are behind the scenes. So, but he's like a beloved by all kind of director, producer, all of that.
And he was murdered by his own son, which is...
Do we know that for sure yet? Did they arrest him?
That's all I saw, but let's actually double check and make sure that that's the case.
Oh, he's been booked on suspicion of murder. So, yeah, I guess we're getting somewhere with that.
Horrifying and so sad. And so, you know, aside from the actual event being upsetting enough, of course, we have a senile old fuck in office who's going to make it so much worse. And he posted on Truth Social. I'm going to read exactly what he said.
Please, read what this is. His post from, you know, not long after everybody found out about these. So this is like his reaction to finding out that Rob Reiner and his wife were murdered in cold blood in their home. Whoever did it, we'll find out. But it's whatever it is, it's very tragic.
Yes. He says, a very sad thing happened last night in Hollywood. Rob Reiner, a tortured and struggling but once very talented movie director and comedy star, has passed away together with his wife Michelle, reportedly due to the anger he caused through his massive, unyielding, and incurable affliction with the mind-crippling disease known as Trump derangement syndrome, sometimes referred to as TDS. He was known to have driven people crazy, in all caps, by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump. This is him tweeting it or putting it on Truth or whatever.
Absolutely insane.
With his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness. And with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before, may Rob and Michelle rest in peace.
Absolutely insane. What's really appalling to me, so for some context, Rob Reiner has been, I was looking up some of his quotes, but I've remembered this over the years. He's been very outspoken against the Trump administration for obvious reasons. One of his quotes about him, he said, Donald Trump is the single most unqualified human being to ever assume the presidency of the United States. He is mentally unfit. Not only does he not understand how government works, he has no interest in trying to figure out how it works. So he's said some scathing things that I agree with. And then Trump uses his death as an opportunity to talk about Trump derangement syndrome, which is just wild that he would go out of his way to do this. But what's really rich to me is that we have Erica Kirk going on this tour and talking about how it's so disgusting and disturbing what people said about my husband's death, which I agree. Some of it I do think has crossed a line. And by crossed a line, I mean in my mind, because it's all subjective. But I get it. Like, I think it would be nice if we all wouldn't be horrible people. That includes the things her husband said when he was alive. So great. Let's talk about being more decent to each other. Oh, and now you're president, that you're like crying, like holding him crying at your husband's funeral / pop performance thing.
Pop performance?
Now that was the weirdest memorial service. But now he's going off like a random director. This is not, why? Why is he even First of all, why is he commenting on his death at all? That's fascinating to me that he has time. And, you know, when we have like multiple wars starting and happening all over the world right now. And now he's like on Truth Social making a whole paragraph. But when the right is using this time in history to be like, everyone needs to be nicer about how you talk. And then this is how Trump continues to behave. How do you reconcile those things?
It's also like this was his opportunity to take something that had nothing to do with him and turn it into something that does have to do with him, because God forbid there's anything in the news cycle that has nothing to do with him. Like,
it's a great point.
Also, and he also had to take the opportunity to make it seem like being anti-Trump means that you are now at risk for being stabbed to death. Like that has anything to do with. Well, because let's say, even I don't think that this was the case, but let's say even in the situation of Rob and his wife being very anti-Trump and their son being super pro-Trump, that is not the reason that you would stab someone to death. There are other factors involved there, including mental illness. Like that is the reason, not disagreeing about Donald Trump. So, and also, how are you looking at the victim and blaming them for being stabbed? It literally, like, when I think about it for long enough, basically what I hear when he writes this kind of fuck shit is, well, guess you learned your lesson. That's kind of what it is. And if anyone else is anti-Trump, then like this is what you have coming for you. It's like, obviously that's not actually what he's saying, but that's the feeling that he's giving, where it's like constant fear mongering and constantly like dangling this in front of your nose to be like, yep, Trump derangement syndrome is the reason for this. Like,
yep. And I would happily, and another thing, everybody's going to think I've turned into a right winger because of the opinions I'm saying, but please hear the nuance in it. I would happily criticize people on the left for saying, well, Charlie, that's what you get for saying the things you do. You get shot. Yeah. I don't agree with that either. So if you want to make a stance against that, aka Erica Kirk going on her little like tour of like the leftists are so mean and evil and awful, maybe your own president should not go out of his way to take violent situations and, like you said, flip it and be like, well, that's what you get if you talk bad about me. That's like, surely the majority of us can agree, which apparently we can when it comes to things like Charlie Kirk, but can't when it comes to the president talking about a director. It wasn't even a public event. Like, this was clearly a personal matter, something that happened within a home. We don't even know what all happened. And if it is his son who's been arrested, he's struggled with addiction and all of that for years and years and years. There's clearly a lot more going on here than just a disagreement about something.
Yes.
Absolutely wild.
It's also looking at what he wrote, seeing the part where he says he was known to have driven people crazy by his raging obsession of President Donald J. Trump with his obvious talking about yourself in third person is fucking crazy.
It's bizarre.
This is not a mentally stable person. It's just not. I'm tired of being gaslit into thinking that this man who is writing shit like this is falling asleep in very important meetings and conversations is the person who is like, what? How are you looking at this person and saying, well, at least it's not Joe Biden, at least it's not Kamala. I'm sorry, I'm past the point of being understanding about it. You're fucking stupid if you think that.
Yeah.
Like, you are ignorant.
I agree. I was talking about that earlier, like the fact that he said he's talking in third person or whatever. At this point, I don't know who's writing Trump's stuff. I don't know who's been writing it. I don't know that it's Trump ever, always, sometimes, whatever. What I do know is that he is 100% signing off on it, because you cannot tell me that this narcissist is not fully like wanting to know everything, he's approving of what's happening. And I think there's been some videos put out where he's like turning to somebody like, yes, post that or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So there's obvious involvement. To me, that makes it even weirder. If he didn't write this, if it's, Stephen Miller or somebody or whoever, like his son or somebody writing this stuff, or just like he's sitting there telling somebody what to write, it's even weirder that somebody wasn't like, maybe we don't talk about you in third person.
Yeah, I know.
What is happening? Even like, it's like fucking Elmo in the Oval Office. Why are we doing this?
That's so funny. But they want to make it seem like this is Caroline Leavitt's like favorite thing to say is that this is the administration of transparency. The American people have never known so much of what's going on and been so close to their president. And they want us to believe that Donald Trump is the one who's like writing all of this and or is so close to the whole process that he basically is writing it. So It's like, I don't even want to give them the grace of someone else having written it. If this is what he's writing, you're a senile ass
he's
old
owning
man.
It for sure. Yeah.
It's like, then great, then I'm going to go with the story that you're trying to sell me, which is that this is him writing this. He has like the weirdest, this is actually not so bad, but his like capitalization drives me nuts. Like
it's terrible.
Random
Do you know what's
words?
This is like a personal thing to share that I don't know that I should, which is why I'm going to share it anyways. But my ex, who like I wish him the best. He has struggled with addiction for years and years and years and mental health issues.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that's relevant in this conversation because he talks the same way. He makes like his social media posts are the exact same with capitalizing very random things. And there's like clearly a thing there. And there's some like narcissistic personality trait things happening there. But it's funny to me because I'm like, oh my God, you sound the same as this person I know who's like tattooed and like forever 19 years old and struggling with addiction. But you're the president of the United States of America and you're in your 70s and you are supposedly sober. What is your excuse? Like,
yes,
it shouldn't sound the same as his posts. Oh,
you showed me his post like forever ago, and that's exactly what it looks like.
They're the same thing.
If our president is writing posts the same way, like the worst person you've ever met in high school writes their Facebook posts, we're in trouble. We're in trouble. Do
you remember, we're in so much trouble for so many reasons, but that's definitely a sign. Do you remember before Trump was president, when he tweeted about Kristen Stewart and Rob Pattinson?
Yeah. Wasn't he like sad that they broke up or something?
I have to look up these tweets because they were so unhinged. Even at the time when he wasn't president, him posting these, I'm pretty sure he wasn't. Let's see. I'm looking these up. 2012. These are, can I just read these?
Please.
And he does the similar, like, weird, well, not so much weird capitalization, I guess. Just weird tweets. After Friday's Twilight release, I hope Robert Pattinson will not be seen in public with Kristen. She will cheat on him again. Because remember, there was like that cheating scandal. And then,
oh my God,
Robert Pattinson is putting on a good face for the release of Twilight. He took my advice on Kristen Stewart, ... I hope.
Not the ... I hope. Oh my God.
And then
it's just so embarrassing.
Miss Universe 2012 pageant will be airing live on NBC, blah, 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 December 19th. Open invitation stands for Robert Pattinson.
Open invitations. So he's a Twilight fan.
He's a Twilight fan. This is all within a month of each other.
Fan. Yeah.
Everyone knows I am right that Robert Pattinson should dump Kristen Stewart. In a couple years, he will thank me. Be smart, Robert.
Oh,
like, he just goes on.
God.
There's more. There's so many more. He goes on and on and on. This is the guy who's the president of the United States right now. So,
and that was,
to be
2012,
fair,
that was not that long ago.
2012.
God, it's just so embarrassing.
So, yeah, it's he's been doing and saying weird things, and he hasn't stopped. And he still wants to talk about celebrities, and he still wants to make it about himself, like you said. But just wild. Should we take a break?
Let's ad break.
Yeah,
let's
then we'll
ad break.
Talk about even more wild things.
Hopefully, I pressed the right button. I think so.
I think you did it. Look at us. Amazing.
And this could be the one that. Oh no! I think when we come back in, we just
yeah,
and then we're back.
We got this.
Incredible. And listen, I like the Trump administration. I'm really happy that we can have this very transparent production.
Very transparent. Everybody knows exactly what's happening here.
Yes. and you can be a part of it because we value
hope Jimmy
that.
Jimmy should make the title something with like weird capitalization that doesn't make sense.
Oh my God.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can
Okay. Welcome back. Oh, I think this is like our intro and not the right button to press, but that's okay.
Well, we're back.
Welcome back to the most transparent podcast available.
Even more transparent than the Trump administration.
Yeah. I also, before we move on from the post about Rob and Michelle Rayner, I guess is how you say her name.
Yeah.
The last part of it, which is his obvious paranoia reaching new heights as the Trump administration surpassed all goals and expectations of greatness, and with the golden age of America upon us, perhaps like never before.
Do you know, I wonder if you still log on to the White House website if it says this, but he's obsessed with that rhetoric. Let's see.
What, golden age of America?
Yes. Yeah. So right now you pull up the website and it's this stupid picture of him and it says America is back.
Oh my God.
Which,
we're the
what is that
laughing
supposed
stock
to mean? Yeah. Meanwhile, you've completely lost trust with most of the world, for sure Europe. Super wild. What's going on? No, I don't see the gold. Oh, there used to be this thing that said like a pop-up that said like, welcome to the golden age.
America is back.
Oh, here it is. Here it is.
Loser.
It says, welcome to the golden age. Sign up for news and updates from the Trump White House. So this is like their thing. This is their branding, their marketing, and they're like pushing it so hard that they're using the tragic death of somebody who has nothing to do with any of this other than making some comments as a person, as a civilian.
Really see it.
Yeah.
That's the welcome
really
to
wild.
the golden age BS. There you go. Yeah, it all just feels like a big joke. I remember once on Threads, I posted something along the lines of like, I can't really understand people who are Trump supporters. Like, how do you still support him knowing that like every other country laughs at us? Like, how are you saying that we are still powerful and like that the world respects us more than they ever have when all I see is the world is laughing at us? And they were like, give me one example that the world is laughing at us because all I ever see are world leaders having meetings with him. So what about that? And I'm like, and then in that moment I was like, and maybe you're right. Like I don't, but I know like at least anecdotally that when like my fiance is in Ireland right now, and he got shit from someone in a bar for being American, and he was like, I legitimately thought he was going to start a fight with me, but I had to like tell him that I am not a Trump supporter. And
correct, like, that's my experience over here as well. The reason is the politicians have to they have to go play golf with him. They have to talk to him. That is their job, to be diplomats, which we're not used to in the US. We're not used to people behaving like diplomats and behaving and trying to find common ground. And honestly, I guess this is the episode where I just say stuff that I know is going to piss off my fellow leftists. But like when everyone was upset that Zoran was meeting with him in the White House, I'm glad that meeting took place. What is the option? Like, what else is he supposed to do in this situation?
Yes.
And I think it went I think it went really well for leftists. Like, I don't
Yes.
understand what right-wingers, they didn't win anything out of that.
No.
And the whole point shouldn't even be like leftists win and right-wingers lose. The point should be that people get, you know, food, that they get shelter. And that's what Zoran Mamdani is, you know,
Yeah.
pushing for. That's what he's asking for. And so that's a good thing. So that's why we
Yes.
see politicians doing one thing. But I will tell you, that's my experience here too, is I'm having, like, over here in Europe, whenever we're out somewhere, I'm like, luckily they think I'm Australian all the time. I don't know why, but that's great. I'll take it. And otherwise I'm just like, yeah, I am. My job is speaking out against Christian nationalism. And then they're like, oh, okay, cool. We don't want to fight you now.
Right. And right. What was I going to say about, Mamdani, about that meeting? That meeting left Trump, first of all, kicking his little feet and like swooning over Zoran, which is hilarious. That will never not be the funniest thing I've ever seen, is like he was just like heart eyes at him the whole time.
All the love memes after that were so funny to me. I loved it.
When he posted basically a dump of
a carousel of their time together.
Of his visit. But the best
one of
is
them
the picture that's
only
just Zoran. I was like, he has a crush. As a woman who has been a teenage girl, he has a teenage girl crush on Zoran. And more importantly, he left that meeting and Trump's feedback was, I think he actually has really great ideas. And he said
that's
that
a
publicly.
good thing. Yes.
Which is amazing. Here's the thing. I think that we also can't get to take a step back and understand that Trump is like dumb. And so we are dealing with a person that can be pretty easily manipulated. Like, you just have to fluff his ego and you can kind of like have him eating out of the palm of your hand. And I think that Zoran probably didn't I'm sure he didn't try and flatter him very much, but he was, his charming self and was able to get this person whose entire base thought that Zoran was going to turn New York into like an Islamic state. What were they saying?
They were saying that he is a jihadist and all kinds of ridiculous things. And then Trump is like, no, I think New York's in good hands, basically. Like, let's see how this goes.
Yes.
And that is, I think, the thing about Trump that I'm starting to now that I'm outside of it all and I can look at it from a slightly more objective standpoint and hear lots of different journalistic takes on it. I'm not just hearing American media and all of that. My take is, I don't think Trump is stupid. I think that he's really smart about the things that he needs to be smart about, which is that he is Team Trump. That's the thing about Trump. If you think that Trump is trying to get wins for Republicans or get a win for Christian nationalism or get a win for this particular party or this particular agenda or ideal, he's not. So that's why he appears stupid, because you're right, he's failing at those things a lot of times. What he is constantly trying to do is get a point for Team Trump. So if that means that he thinks this guy's kind of cool and I see he's winning over some people and he's got some good ideas, great. That's what he's going to go for. If he thinks that, what would be great is if he would be like, yeah, Christian nationalism, that's not working for me so much anymore. I'm not interested in it. Then he would throw them to the side as well. Right now, they're working so well for him because they are worshiping him that it's going great for him. He just does what works for him. And that's why he'll, like you said, make this stabbing about him, because he just wants everything to be about himself. So it's a win, in my opinion, when Team Trump is suddenly like, oh, democratic socialism. Maybe some of that might work here. That might be cool. We should be happy when that happens. Not saying we should be praising Trump or excusing anything about him whatsoever. But that's a dream world. That's a great fantasy, is that Trump ends up being like, oh, actually, I like all of this. This is the best thing ever. Do I think that's going to happen?
Yes.
No, not at all. But the few times it does, I'm only going to be glad that happened, because there's a chance that more people will be able to sleep somewhere at night and have food on their tables. That's a great thing every time.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. I agree. Well, moving forward from
Yes.
good old Trump derangement
We could talk about
syndrome,
that for forever
I could
because we're
do it
so
all day.
deranged.
I
Yeah.
know, truly. um, there was also a shooting in Australia. I don't know if this was yesterday, maybe the day before. And this was an anti-Semitic attack on Jewish folks who are celebrating Hanukkah. I think it was the first day of Hanukkah. And the shooter was disarmed by a 43-year-old father of two, Ahmed Al Ahmed, who
Yep.
has 2 gunshot wounds as a result. Did you see the
Wild.
video of him disarming
Yeah.
him? Oh my God. It gives me chills. I can't.
Do we know, does he have some kind of background in the military or anything like that? Like
I'm
he
not
was like
sure.
a professional.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was amazing.
yeah. And it could just be like sheer bravery that brought that out of him and just common sense, which that's amazing.
Yeah. Yes. And as of now, his GoFundMe has $1.5 million, I think, in it.
Nice.
Which is amazing. And I really am hoping that helps to offset any of the like whatever medical services that he needs. I'm not actually sure what the situation is in Australia. I'm sure it's not nearly as bad as it is in the US because most things are not. But I would love to know how that man even had, that was a machine gun. That was huge. How did he even get that gun? Do we know yet?
I am not sure. Yeah, because let's see. I'm looking here to see. It was a father and son that committed the shooting. Isn't that right?
Oh, I don't know.
Do we
I
know?
thought it was just one guy. I mean, I saw the video and it was just one guy, but
no,
but I don't know. Maybe it was.
So it's two individuals open fired. And that was at an event for, wasn't it a Hanukkah celebration?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe maybe they're not saying who it was. I think what's speculated is that it's a father and son, but I do know it was they have 2 people in custody. There was 2 people that were shooting. And death toll of 9 people so far. Oh, I guess that's 15 now. Okay. So the gunman was killed, the second gunman in critical condition now. But yeah, it was a like terrorist, it was declared a terrorist incident. Clearly it was, I think. It was a hate crime. I think it's absolutely disturbing, appalling. There's zero excuses for it. It's not okay. I'm glad for everybody that's speaking out against it. And it's just sad that, I don't know, it feels like, I'm sure everybody says this in every timeline, but it just feels like things have gotten to a really tense, gross place where stuff like this just kind of boils out and bubbles up and comes out. There's so much tension all over the globe right now. And it is heartbreaking that people can't even go to a beach to celebrate something together without being gunned down. Like, I kind of don't really care. Like, I'm an atheist. Obviously, I'm not super into religious holidays or celebrations. I still think that you should be able to participate in those without losing your life for it. That's
totally
disturbing on every level.
Yes. And I mean, I know and understand the nuance in what's happening in Gaza and people having a very hard time separating the Jewish folks who are not in Israel and who are, you know, in completely different countries, but you have to find a way to separate this because then the whole thing is you can't be murdering civilians because they're not directly involved.
Yeah, I think that's what frustrates me a lot of times. Obviously, people aren't just going around committing massacres all the time, but what I find us as humans do is we pick up a we have, by the way, we don't know anything about these shooters as far as I know, and what they're like, if they had any, but if they were acting alone, what their goal was, we don't know. We can only speculate. But in general, what I'm finding is that us humans latch on to an issue that we feel like we are being humanists about, and we want to advocate for that. And we're like, this is wrong, and you're harming these people, and blah, 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 blah. And then we think that that's an excuse to turn around and harm other people. And we lose sight of our fellow humanity. Like I struggle with, in the atheist community, I see us doing that, to where we're like, fuck Christianity because it makes it makes people horrible people, and they harm queer communities, and they're bigoted and all of this. And I can agree, like obviously that stuff is happening. That's why I do what I do. However, if we lose sight of the fellow human in each other, what are we even doing at the end of the day?
What's the point? What is
the point? If we are just using it to be us versus them at all times, like religion loves for us to do, because they need a bad guy, and it has to be somebody that you can see right over there, then what are we doing? We're just the same. It is the same. And so I think what I'm loving is seeing all the people, like I said, coming out, speaking out against this, but stepping up and showing up for each other. That incredibly brave man that stepped up, and which, by the way, clearly was willing to give his life to stop this situation. And I love that now is my chance to be critical against religion. I love that Christians want to say, like, Jesus died for your sins. That's amazing. Nobody else would do that. People do brave things like this all the time throughout history. And they don't get to come back after a weekend and say, like, oh, actually, I'm okay now, guys. Like, people are willing to risk their lives for each other. And I think that is one of the most beautiful things about humans, not about claimed gods, but about humans, that we're like willing to put our lives on the line for each other, because we say, like, oh, I see you over there. I see a fellow human, and I want to stop the harm that's about to come to you. That's what's cool about humans.
Yes. And
sorry, that was a long rant.
No, I love a rant. The man who did disarm the shooter is Muslim. And so for all of the people who want to call in and tell me that the only way that they want to know how anyone has a moral compass without the 10 Commandments, I think that's interesting. Yeah. And I've said to them many times, do you really need a centuries old book to tell you not to kill someone and not to fuck your neighbor's wife? You really needed someone to tell you that? Really?
Yeah.
Like, think better of yourself. Like, that's crazy. But another thing I want to touch on is it's important that we are able to connect with the humanity of the situation, because again, it's a moment where, like, it is worth looking at this situation zoomed out, so that, like, I feel like if anyone says anything about this, there's going to be someone down your throat that's going to be like, well, fuck Israel and pro-Palestine. And, like, yes, and I understand that, and I am pro-Palestine. However, Netanyahu wasted zero time saying that this was an attack from Palestine specifically. He wasted no time.
God.
So, like, this is not, we cannot be looking at this in that lens, because we all lose. We all lose.
Yep.
Like, people should not be getting shot for celebrating anything. Ever.
Right.
I mean, if you're celebrating something hateful and you're, like, walking at a KKK rally, then, like, you still shouldn't be getting shot, but that's a whole different thing.
Right. But families gathering together on the beach,
what are we doing?
It's a hate crime. That's all that it is. Yeah.
Yes. It is absolutely a hate crime, and it's horrific. There are, like, 38 people in the hospital right now. And I will say that, for what it's worth, the Australian government is already talking about tightening some of their gun control laws, which are already extremely strict.
Yep.
So, and that's like what effective government should do. You should see a situation happen and say, okay, how do we prevent this from happening again? Instead of what we do here.
Wrong? Yeah.
Yes, which is over and over and over again, thoughts and prayers, and I just can't take it. It's like part of me is thinking, you know, as a person with a platform, we have responsibilities to share important pieces of information. But another part of me is like, what do I even say at this point? What do I say? What can I say?
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's like exhausting. What, every day I'm going to post the mass shooting that someone did in this country? How are we I don't understand. And it's just there's so much every day. Al Ahmed, by the way, his son has a background in the Syrian security forces, but he owns a fruit stand.
Aww.
That's what that man does. And he put his life in danger, in jeopardy, to be able to stop what was happening for a group of people who are not celebrating his religion. And he is not trained in any of this. Like, that man's a hero.
Yeah.
He's a hero. And I hope that continues to be the case. And I'm glad that he got support with the GoFundMe and everything. It did make me think, though, that Adriana Smith has had a GoFundMe for whatever. This has to be a year, something like that, or maybe it's closer to like 6 months. And the goal is $660K, and they haven't reached that goal yet. So, if
that's crazy,
isn't it crazy?
Yeah. And Adriana Smith,
shocked.
You're talking about the woman in Georgia,
in Georgia, right? Who has now since passed, but they were using her body as an incubator for her poor son, Chance, who is still in the NICU, and he will not be coming home anytime soon. And why did we do this? Why did we do this to her, to her family, who's going to have what I'm sure will be millions of dollars in hospital bills?
Yeah.
And this poor young boy who has been alive now and was born, I don't know, sometime in the summer, I thought, but maybe I'm not remembering right. When was this? When was the baby born?
No,
maybe
I think
earlier
that's
this
right.
year?
Yeah.
I can't remember. All my timelines are messed up. But this baby is still 11 pounds and a bunch of his organs are not forming. So, like, why did we do this? Why? And now like, she's out of the news cycle, and so people have forgotten about her. But her poor family is going to be dealing with this in one way or another. And I'm sure part of it too is like, you mourn this whole situation while you have an infant in the NICU for so much of its life.
Yeah, he's 6 months old now.
Okay. 6 months old and 11 pounds. It's just like unconscionable. I can't deal with it. Anyway, let's do one more break, and then let's talk about Candace Owen and Erica having a meeting today, because I'm so interested in what that's about. And I also am like kind of obsessed with all of the videos of Erica on her little press tour with her demon eyes. Oh my God.
It's interesting. I have thoughts.
Yeah, it's giving soulless in a way that, I don't know.
Yeah.
Something's not right. Something is dark over there. And I also saw the video of her hugging Trump at the memorial for the first time, like, since it all happened. We should have made a bigger deal out of that. That was so fucking weird.
I was watching it and I was like, what the hell? Anyways, more on that
We'll be right back.
when we get back.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com, and pick up some founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
Yes. We're so back.
I think that was right. We're so back.
Yeah. I mean, we're here, so.
We're here. So, okay. So, Erica.
Candace Owens.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Erica Kirk tweeted and said that me and Candace Owens are having a meeting tomorrow morning, and we both decided that there will be no streams, no interviews, no social media
Right,
posts
until then.
until after.
Should I like update in case some people don't know what's going on? Candace Owens has been talking about Charlie Kirk's death since he died.
Yes. Ad
And
nauseum.
yes, and she has gone full conspiracy theory. Are some of them maybe true? We don't know. As of right now, they're all conspiracy theories. But she's pointing out things. Apparently, there's like these Egyptian planes that have been. Have you heard about this?
I haven't heard about the Egyptian planes. I know she's on a conspiracy.
Listen,
spiral, but
I've been listening to. I'll tell you the conspiracies. She's made claims, which so far I've heard Tucker Carlson back these claims, that there have been flight plans, basically confirming that there are these Egyptian planes that have been spotted like some ridiculous amount of times within Erica Kirk's proximity for the last, I don't know, something like 10, 12 years. And we're there, you know, in the same area where Charlie was killed, when Erica got there. I don't know. So she's pointing out all kinds of stuff like this. She's talking about text messages from just before Charlie Kirk was killed saying that he was about to kind of change his stance on Israel. And Candace is trying to imply that we don't actually know who killed him or who's behind it, and that there's all kinds of stuff going on, and that Turning Point USA is part of a cover-up. She's going on the record to say all these kinds of things. And she has said over and over and over again, the only person that can tell me to stop talking about this stuff is Erica. If Erica wants to tell me I'm lying, then she's the one that can come out and say that I'm wrong about this stuff. But she has to be the one to do it. Well, Erica did come out and say stop. And now I guess they're meeting. But anyways, you should fill in whatever. That's what I know. And it's fascinating to me.
The clip of Erica, I don't remember what news, whatever, who was interviewing her, but they asked her, if you could say anything to Candace Owens right now, what would you say? And she goes, stop. That's it. That's all I would say.
But she also
stop.
She lowers her voice and she's like smiling, and then she does the stop.
Yeah.
Stop.
And she does this with her eyes.
Really, yes. Very intense.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No one needs a Xanax more than that woman. Jesus fucking Christ.
And to be fair, so people are saying a lot of stuff about her, and obviously there's weird shit going on. Coming from that background, the religious background, you have to be anti-feminist and yet you need to do double the amount of shit that any feminist has ever done kind of world. That's probably honestly at the root of a lot of it. She needs a Xanax. She needs she's probably overwhelmed. She's probably losing her mind. Like a lot of women put in that position where you have young children and you have this huge career, and now you have your husband's career, and you have an entire organization, and you have a religion, and you have an entire country watching everything you do. There's no way she's okay. There's the humanist part of me, just my heart goes out to her and the scrutiny that she's under. But God, is she really giving them stuff to talk about? She's just fully in it right now. She is fully playing the puppet for religion, for this evangelical weird world, and just not helping her case at all. There is no transparency happening. There is no vulnerability happening. There is full, she is putting on the show that they've trained her to put on, which makes me sad for her, because I do think there's a real human there that has a lot of real shit going on that we don't know, how she really feels or thinks, because she has to be this certain way. Evangelicalism, this brand of Christian nationalism, does not allow grief. That's not a thing. And so I'm sure that's coming out in a weird way, but good God, the interview clips are so bad.
They're so frightening. They are so frightening. The intensity that she's bringing to all of these interviews. And is there a reason she's doing all of these interviews now? Like, what is the reason? Is it
what
to
happened
combat
is,
Candace?
no, Charlie Kirk had a book that he was working on, and I don't know if he finished it, if it was already finished, if somebody else finished it, but they're putting out his book. I don't think it's out yet. This is a book tour. So her whole thing is like she's doing what Charlie would want her to do, which Charlie would want her to stay home with the kids according to his beliefs. Like he thought women should,
my God,
be barely seen and certainly not heard. But she's going out. Her whole thing is she's saying, like, I'm going out and completing his book tour for him. So I guarantee you, her thought process behind all of this and how she's able to rationalize, like you and I are able to sit here and be like, this is weird behavior. I guarantee you, her thought process is, I am, God has made me strong and there's no grief because I'm going to see Charlie in heaven someday. And I've got to like carry the sword and continue being a good soldier for Christ and get this book out there and be a good example and lead the team and do the thing and blah, 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 blah. Like she's probably an eldest daughter. I should look that up. But she's like going all in, and it is disturbing to watch, I think, for your average person.
Yeah. I didn't realize this was it felt like a book tour, but I didn't think that she wrote anything. So now it makes sense. I am so nervous for when that book comes out because there's going to be a whole bunch of people who treat that like a second Bible, and it's going to be horrible. And I'm really not looking forward to that.
I predict that the book doesn't do very well. I want to look, like I was looking at it. Let me see what it is. Because I've been watching so my book is coming out on the religious charts. So it'll be under like Christian category, under like Christian studies and all of that. It's actually it's been next to some book that Charlie Kirk wrote a foreword for, it's like in the charts and everything.
Wow.
So I've been watching to see when his book, let me see when his book comes out. It's called something like Stop in the Name of God or something like that. And it's about resting and like, let me see, because I actually don't think it's going to do very well. Stop in the name of God. Why honoring the Sabbath will transform your life. So I think it's out already. Yeah, it's out. So the book is out. And it's supposed to be, oh yeah. So this is making sense. So it's about how it says honoring the Sabbath restores balance, reduces anxiety, and nourishes your soul. So Erica is going on and on talking about how like he'd come home on the Sabbath and put his phone away and just spend time with the family. So she's going out of her way to paint this picture of somebody who's like fully present and like follows the thing he's preaching. Although I think Candace has come out showing all the texts that he sends. No, somebody else posted. That's what it was. Somebody posted like all the times Charlie Kirk has tweeted on the Sabbath, and it's like all the time. So they're like, yes. He actually put his phone away? Did he really? So I don't think the book's going to do very well. I don't think it sounds very interesting. I don't think people care that much. And I think that will I'm sure it's doing okay because obviously she's getting a ton of press, but like, I don't think this is going to be like a second Bible because I don't think it's a very good book. And even his own followers are going to be like, okay, whatever. What do you want us to do with this?
I'm so glad that that's the topic of the book. I'm so glad, because could you imagine how fucking horrible it would be if the concept for the book was like, young
free
men
speech
need to be, or like, or anything targeted towards young men about traditional, family values, like all of that kind of BS. That would be like legitimately detrimental, I think. And I'm so happy that it's about resting on Sundays. You know what? Yeah. I think all of you should rest more often.
Everybody
I don't want to see your asses in the news cycle ever.
Yeah.
Get out of the news cycle.
Yeah. And meanwhile, she's going out and just like working nonstop for, which is how some people process grief. Like that is something we should all be aware of. Some people just like can't cope. And so they go full on into work. I think we're seeing a lot of that. So I'm doing like a full both sides. I think that she comes off as disturbing and weird and awkward. I also feel like I understand, like coming from that world, like that could have been me if I stayed in that world, it so easily could have been me. And so I get it. I get how that's happening. I don't think there's excuses for it. I think it's crazy and weird. I feel bad for her children. I feel bad for her. I feel bad for all people involved, but it makes sense when you know the context of everything. It's just wild. Super wild.
Yeah. Oh my God. It really is. Yeah. And I literally cannot wait to hear what comes of this meeting. I'm sure
right.
Candace
I
is
forgot.
going to
That's
want
like
to.
the whole thing we're talking. Yes.
Yeah. I also, actually, before we move on from the note of grief, I do agree that everyone grieves differently. We know this. I even in, and like me and Jimmy have talked about the post that she shared right after Charlie died, where she's like touching his hand, and like she put that on. So, and it literally looks like it is a blocked video. Like they blocked it ahead of time. And then they were like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and touch his hand. And here we go. And I was like, I think that's weird.
Yeah.
Although I come from a Roman Catholic background, when we have wakes, people are like touching the body. They're like kissing the face or whatever. I personally don't do that because it freaks me out. But people do that. So I like in that sense, it's not that unusual. What's unusual is her sharing everything and being like very like ready to mobilize all of these people on behalf of her husband. It's just, and doing it with such like weird intensity, and like it feels like everything she's saying is actually a threat.
Totally.
I feel threatened by her all the time.
Well, and she's going around saying she wants privacy while making everything like everybody's business and going on a world tour and all kinds of crazy stuff. And again, I think that's part of the harm that like religion perpetuates is it she's fully just working for that. She's batting for that team right now. Like she's just fully disregarding her own humanity to fulfill the role that they have made for her, which requires you to dehumanize yourself, to commodify your grief to the point that you don't even know how weird this looks to everybody else because you're so detached from reality. But that's what religion is. It's detachment from reality. So of course that's what we're seeing from religious extremists. Like that's what it cultivates. And now we're seeing a bunch of bizarre stuff play out. And there's still even more bizarre stuff because Candace Owens is over here basically accusing Turning Point USA of a assassination cover-up, which I want to know what's going to happen when they talk. If we'll hear anything. Wait. What is going to be so annoying to me is if Candace comes out in the next couple of days and is like, hey guys, I met with Erica. I won't be talking about Charlie anymore ever again.
Yeah, if she says nothing, what I mean? I'll be pissed. I want her to, because I am glad that there is a divide in that community of people. I would love if she comes out of that meeting and she's like, I spoke to Erica and everything she said was a lie, and I still think all of these conspiracies are happening and whatever. Right. I don't like love that it's turning into a conspiracy thing because it's like a very slippery slope into things being potentially dangerous. But I do really, I am happy that there's a division between people because Candace Owens has a lot of influence, and as does or did Charlie, still does Charlie Kirk and Erica Kirk. Sure. And like that divide I think is important. Like we're at least splitting this mass of people, and that little split is a weak spot, and I'll take the weak spot.
Well, and then like the part of me that is not a conspiracy theorist, but I still want to know why, like Candace's point, one of the last things she posted was the clip of Erica saying to Candace, stop saying, stop lying. And Candace says, stop lying about what? Please say what I'm lying about. Like, what is it that I'm saying that's a lie? And I'll happily stop if you confirm that it's a lie. But I need to know what it is. And I'm kind of like, okay, why are you taking the time to say like, oh, I forgive the shooter and everything's good. And then when they mention Candace, you get like angry eyes and you're like, stop. And then you won't say like, it would be if I were I don't know, it's easy to say this, but if I were Erica and Candace is literally lying about stuff, then I would just be like, yeah, this is wrong because of X, Y, and Z. This is wrong because of this. Or I would just say, like, yeah, she's spouting conspiracy theories and it's all a lie and it's ridiculous. Or, you know what? Look, Candace is right about this part and this thing, and there was some tension between Charlie and some board members because of blah blah blah. But that's, you know, I get why it could be construed as that, but that's ultimately not. She's not saying any of that, but then she's going out of her way to be like, stop. That's when I'm like, okay, what is the problem here? There's clearly something, and I'm sure it's not whatever crazy conspiracy theory that Candace has, but there's something that's making you a little edgy about this. What is it? What are you hiding? Clearly, you're faking a lot of shit, but what are you hiding? Because there's something.
Yeah.
Something's off.
There's something. Well, we'll wait and see what she has to say. Obviously, we are recording this podcast on Monday, so we're finding out what their conversation was about. Hopefully, by the time you listen to this podcast, you'll know, and you'll have to tell us. In the bonus show,
yes.
Promise is going to tell us about a crazy story that's happening in Finland.
Oh, God. Yeah, there's some culture war stuff with Miss Finland, the pageantry situation. It'll be fun. Join us over there.
Join us over there. We're going to spend some little extra time. We're going to hear a crazy story. Maybe something that's not so depressing, like all of the things that we've had to endure today.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
Today's a... and
that's the show.
That's the show. Although, for what it's worth, I think we stayed on topic more than we have in many other episodes.
Ever. Did we even have a personal tangent on, like, I mean, a few little tiny things, but...
Little ones. Well, you want to know what it was? Because we caught up before.
It's because we spent 40 minutes before yapping.
Exactly. See you in the bonus show. Sorry, guys.